Good evening. I'm tasked today with speaking on police shootings. I'm the head of a group called We Care, and I represent them as we reach out to the community. One of our responsibilities is bridging the gap between the citizens and the police officers. The police shootings all over the nation has increased severely. And not just the last 2 months, but over the years as the numbers have shown. As the numbers soar upward, they bring tension towards our community and our officers. And if we are trying to build trust between the community and the police, we need more transparency. One of the biggest problems in the community is determining if there are two sets of rules. As I speak with individuals in our community, they don't know clear answers as to what's going on. And some of the questions they are asking me, which I bring to you today, and these aren't to be answered at this moment, but what are the procedures after a police shooting? No one has the answer. What is that? What does administration leave? What is that? When the police is involved in a shooting, they say that there's administrative leave, but the public doesn't know exactly what consists of administrative leave. But the thing that they do know is that a citizen doesn't get administrative leave if they're involved in a shooting, and that's what brings us back to those two sets of rules. With all the training and the technology that we have, a shooting should be the last resort. They sincerely feel that an unarmed citizen should never be shot by any cause unless they're an immediate threat of danger. Now, I'm fortunate to say that our Richmond Police Department is awesome and we don't have these problems here. But the reason I brought this to you guys because we want to know what's being done proactively to make sure that that's not a problem in our city. That's what the people want to know. And that's the question I asked you, Ms. Mosley.
Madam President.
Ms. Brown?
I'd like to say that our police chief, he has meetings with us all the time. All of us have district meetings, and I know at my 8th district meeting, there's always captains from 1st, 2nd, even 3rd precinct. They come there along with the majors, deputy police chiefs, and this, I'll give you a flyer. I think I got it right here. Next month, August 18th, the chief is going to be there with his command staff, and we'd love to have you come there because he has open communication. Anytime a chief would give you his cell number and he answers it, that means a whole lot. And I don't know what the other chiefs do in the surrounding counties or other places, but I know that our chief here gives us his cell number, and you can even call his office, and he returns the phone calls. So that means a whole lot. And also, our officers, they're doing an outstanding job with community policing. And right now, I have so many pastors that are coming together. And the president of council, she has been working with some pastors all over the city, where we're going to have like a march in September in support of our officers, and it's going to be called One-to-One Unity, citizens and community coming together. And we'd love for you to help, come and be with us.
No problem. I think the actual question that I have is the transparency between what is administrative leave. They don't know what it is. I mean, nobody's clearly defined it.
Okay, we can talk about that, and I know the chief would be more than willing to answer that question, and also to be able to define exactly what it means word to word, so we'd be on the same page.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you, guys.
And also the chief will be here tomorrow. We're going to have a public safety meeting at 5 o'clock right here in the council chambers. If you want to come here tomorrow at 5 o'clock and ask that question during the citizens comment period, I'll allow you to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
We also have an officer in the back. Officer Drew.
Deputy Police Chief.
Deputy Police Chief.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to respond?
Please.
So to Madam President, City Council, those are very excellent questions. I'll just take a few minutes. Steve Drew with the Richmond Police Department. There are 3 phases that we have in any police-involved shooting in the city. One new phase was brought on when Chief Durham came here. The first phase is handled like any other shooting. There is a group. It's made up with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, the medical examiner, and police officers that invest with internal affairs that investigate all police shootings. So the very first thing we determine, is it a criminal act? Is it a criminal act? Just like we would invest any other shooting in the city. That's phase one. Phase two is the administrative process. That's where we would go over our policy and procedures. Internal affairs usually conducts that. Did the officer follow the guidelines that are laid out in our policies and procedures when we use force? And then the third is a tactical review, and that's through the training academy that goes over tactics. What can we do better? What may have led to this? Could a different response, a different position? So it's three different phases. The Commonwealth Attorney in the criminal phase, they will make a determination if it is a what we would call a good shoot or justified in using that type of force or not. They would either come back and write a letter of declination that they feel like it is not a criminal act. If it is, they feel that it is, they would present that case to the grand jury made up of citizens of Richmond that would determine if there would be an indictment on that officer. And we've seen that happen in other jurisdictions. So I think you're absolutely right. The transparency piece, we had 6 police shootings in the city of Richmond last year. And I think you could all say that the chief is out very front and gives as much information as he can, but I think it's important to remember that, as we see in other cases, that the case has to take its course. Correct. And to make quick judgments, I think, causes unrest and a lot of concern. So I think transparency is key. We put out a lot of that information as much as we can at the beginning. Was there another gun involved? Was the individual armed or unarmed? What were the circumstances? What kind of call? But I think you're exactly right. Putting that out is extremely, extremely important. The last part of your question, the administrative leave, most times that individual will be put on administrative leave. That means that they're not in contact. We'll take their police powers away, and it allows them to be removed from the police department and let those 3 phases all take its course. So it may be 5 or 6 months before that officer comes back to work, but it makes sure that all 3 of those phases are completed. So that's in essence, and the short as I can do it, that's sort of how it works in the city. I do think we get it right. But I think we can always improve. We have our general counsel that kind of sits through all of those phases. Commonwealth Attorney for the criminal, internal affairs for our policies that we're guided by, and then the tactical of what we can do better. We have a lot of we're always about less than lethal, and use of force is used in the protection of our life or the fear or for someone else. So that's sort of in a nutshell, and the chief can certainly go into more detail tomorrow, but I hope that answers
that was
some of the questions.
Information, but I think the only question I had is, like, we in this room know that now. We need to do a better job getting it to the citizens.
Well, and you're exactly right. And I think that there's a couple ways we can do that. We have a Citizens Academy. We have open forums all over the city. There's 12 sector lieutenants that hold public meetings monthly. I mean, probably one a week, where we try to address any of those questions that come up. A phone call to the police department if you'd like us to come. We met with. We were just in Mayor Jones's church, and we talked about some of those examples. So there are numerous opportunities, and we try to always find better ways to get that information out. But so your point's well taken. But I think it's a very good question. I thank you for bringing it up.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. Thank you.